Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's Embarrassing Stories. First up we have TIFU by Throwing Up at My Mom's Workplace's Gym by Remarkable Gap 8723. Actually, this was a couple of weeks ago, but I can't stop thinking about it, and my social anxiety is killing me when I go to work out. To condense it as much as possible, my mother's workplace has a gym, and even a personal training program for its workers to register for. For a long time now, my mom has been trying to get me to work out. Not necessarily because I'm living an unhealthy lifestyle, but more to bulk up some muscle and get stronger. Guess I should also add that I'm 19 and not that productive over the semester breaks. Anyway, the personal training package at my mom's workplace extends to family and friends, so she essentially told me it was the perfect opportunity to get fit. I have never been an exercise person and have the worst stamina probably ever, but I figured it couldn't hurt. I think those two might have a connection. So, I went for a trial, and the personal trainer was so lovely. I definitely felt a lot more comfortable at the idea afterwards. My mom signed me up for the package, and I started going to work out on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Now, I went in with absolutely zero knowledge about working out in general, and how to manage my diet before or after working out. This is where I fucked up. I'll be honest, ever since the break, I've been waking up pretty late in the day, like 10 to 11 a.m. Sweet summer child. And then when I eat, it's usually foods like bread. I know, not good. There's nothing wrong with bread. If people are telling you are, you tell me where they live. But when I began working out, I thought I should also begin to fix my fucked up sleep schedule. Eventually, I began to wake up at around 9 and eat breakfast and have lunch around 11 or 12. Maybe some of you guys can see where this is going. That particular day, I woke up earlier like I had planned and had breakfast and lunch like normal, so I thought. I don't recall what I had for breakfast, but I remembered I had something with sausages for lunch. Nom, nom, nom. Anyway, I arrived at the gym as usual, ready for my workout sesh. The personal trainer had told me that they were going to work on cardio specifically that day, and I was like, cool, let's go. We get through some cardio reps, and I start feeling a bit out of breath. I didn't think much of it, after all. The personal trainer said it was a cardio-heavy workout today. But things started feeling off when we finished a particularly heavy exercise. You know that queasy feeling where you feel like you might throw up? Yeah, halfway through the next exercise, I told my personal trainer that I felt like I might throw up, and she immediately told me to stop, sit down, and take some deep breaths. But the more I tried to breathe, the more I felt like I was about to vomit. In the end, I tried to run to the toilet, but I didn't make it and threw up all over the carpet of the gym in front of everyone that was there. I was mortified and embarrassed beyond measure. I wanted to crawl into a hole and die. For the most part, the personal trainer was just worried about me and wanted to make sure I was okay while the other workers there cleaned up my mess. I think I was just too embarrassed at that point to even think about my own condition. I must have hid in the bathroom for at least 20 minutes before my mom, I guess the personal trainer called her, coaxed me out. You had to walk past the lobby to exit the gym, so I couldn't even escape quietly. I stared at the floor the whole way to my car. I didn't even want to breathe too loudly. In hindsight, it was a bad idea to eat too closely to a workout session. Basically, one that's heavy on cardio. I got home fine, and there wasn't any lingering issues, but I'm utterly mortified. I didn't want to go back there ever again, but the problem was that the package was for 12 sessions and were all paid in full. I didn't want to waste my mom's money, so I have to go back. But now, every time I walk past that area with the carpet, I always remember that moment. They managed to clean it up without any stains remaining or anything, but I just can't forget. Also, this is my mom's workplace gym. I don't even know if some of her co-workers saw the incident, and I'd feel horrible if this affected her reputation at work in any way. Now I've been too scared to eat anything before my workout sessions, lest this happens again. Well, look at it this way. You were so dedicated, you worked out so hard, you threw up. I know you're the first person to ever do that. Well, you can't eat nothing before you go, so definitely have something in the morning, right, to get you through, and then have something after the workout as well. You know, you'll definitely enjoy it more after the workout. You don't... That is, of course, if working out's something you really want to do. You've got to do it for yourself. I mean, I've been taking a lot better care of myself lately. I mean, I'm still a bit of a fat ass, but I work out most days. You know, I walk or I cycle just to make sure that my body's getting worked out, because, you know, working from home is very easy to fall into bad habits, which I did for many, many years. And you will, the longer you do this, you've only been doing it a little bit, you will start to feel the benefits, and as you start to feel the benefits, it will kind of spur you forward. But make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, because it's what you want to do. And as far as putting muscle on, sure, if that's something that, again, you want to do. Motivation helps. And I don't think anyone at your mom's workplace really cares. It's a gym. Bodily fluids everywhere. Of all kinds. Story number 2. TIFU by nearly blinding myself. By Twisty Slide Throwaway. About 20 years ago, I moved halfway across the country to live with my partner, now wife, so it worked out, and a friend. Before I moved, I was basically a hermit. I had no local friends and was extremely depressed, so I wasn't taking very good care of myself. Among other things, this meant that I didn't go to any kind of doctor for a couple of years, including the eye doctor. At the time, I wore 2-week disposable soft contact lenses. When I got down to my last pair, rather than scheduling an eye exam to get more, I just kept wearing them long after the 2 weeks were past. Like for over a year. I mean, I'm all for recycling, but steady on. I took them out every night and cleaned them, so I tried to tell myself it wasn't that bad. My eyes occasionally got red and itchy, but I thought that was just because of my allergies. After I moved and started spending time with people again, I started to feel like I needed to make more of an effort to take care of myself. I didn't have a job yet, so no insurance, since this was before the ACA. But I still had some money that I'd saved, so I decided to start by seeing an optometrist. My partner needed new glasses, so we looked for one together and made appointments for the same day. My partner went first, but when she came back out to the waiting room, she said that the optometrist was really nice, funny, and laid back. They got along great. Then it was my turn. I walked into the exam room to find a man who looked exactly like Chuck Norris. Oh, you're fucked. They could have been twins. It was uncanny. We introduced ourselves, and he asked me to take my contacts out so he could examine my eyes. While the optometrist had been friendly in the beginning, things quickly took a turn for the worse when he asked me how long I'd been wearing those contact lenses. I wasn't sure, but gave my best guess. Then he said, "Has anyone ever told you about vessel growth in your corneas?" I said, "No." And he left the room for a couple of minutes. When he came back, he drew me a picture of an eye. He said, "This is your cornea. Your corneas need oxygen, and they usually get that from the air. But you've had those contact lenses in for so long, and they've gotten so dirty, that your corneas couldn't breathe that way anymore. So your body found a new way to feed them, by growing blood vessels where no blood vessels should be. You evolved!" I was horrified and asked if there was anything I could do about it. He said that he was going to give me the most breathable lenses on the market, and that over time the vessels would contract. They'd always be there, but they'd be much smaller and wouldn't cause any problems as long as I never did anything like that again. He was extremely stern, not quite yelling at me, but it was clear that he wanted to. That's not how you get repeat customers, though. Honestly, it was pretty intimidating, especially when he added that if I waited much longer to come in, I would have been permanently blinded. At that point, he drew lines to represent the blood vessels growing right across the pupil of the eye. He said that mine was the worst case he'd seen in all his years of practice, which in many ways means you're the best. By the time the supply of contact lenses this eye doctor gave me had run out, I had a job again, but with no benefits, so I couldn't afford an eye exam. I thought about the optometrist lecturing me and decided I'd just go back to glasses. And I'm still wearing glasses to this day. Well, it lets you accessorize. You use them as a fashion kind of thing, as well as a seeing thing. Every time I have my eyes examined by a new optometrist, they get all excited about the shriveled up blood vessels in my corneas. Story number 3 is TIFU by Getting Drunk and Walking 45 km by Dang3Dan. Or Dan Dan. I think it might be that one. First off, I'm an Australian. This took place between the city of Rockhampton and the town of Yeppoon in 2014, so you can look up the route yourself if you want. When I was 18, and stupid, I went to the next town over. There was a big illegal block party on a public road, lots of drink driving, illegal racing, drugs, etc. I just stuck to the drinking. I was a passenger in one of the drunk races, but that's another story. Never, ever do this. Never get in a car with a drunk person driving. At some point, my friends that drove me there left, and at around 1 a.m., someone asked me how I was getting home. I told them I'd just sleep at the bus stop and wait for the bus home. They told me because the next day was Anzac Day, the buses wouldn't be running because it was a public holiday. You have amazing friends for leaving you there. I was like, oh, fuck. So I had to decide what to do. I could sleep in a bush and just be pointlessly bored and homeless for a day, then get the bus home the next day, but I'd need food and drinks and stuff. And would I even be able to afford the bus after that? I only had $25, or I could start walking. On the way out of town, I stopped at each of the 24-hour petrol stations and got some supplies. 2 bottles of water, a bottle of Powerade, a bottle of Maximus, the rip-off version of Powerade that comes in larger bottles, some Doritos, burger rings, and Twisties for food, and a roll of duct tape and scissors. I had just watched the Mythbusters episodes where they used duct tape as a survival tool, so I figured it would be useful. And it was. I fashioned some rope by twisting the duct tape up. I made a bandolier to hang the plastic bags from so I didn't have to carry my stuff. I made a holster for the Maximus bottle so it was always in reach when I needed it. I made a pouch on the bandolier to slip the scissors into in case I needed them for self-defense. By the time I got to the edge of town, it had been over an hour of walking. It was overcast and very dark. Behind me was all the street lights, lights of buildings, sounds of cars. But on the highway it was just pitch black. But I figured I'd already walked that far, I may as well finish it, so I kept walking. About an hour out on the highway, my phone ran out of battery. I'd been listening to music while I walked, so if something happened now, I'd be fucked. As the sun was coming up, more cars started passing me. About 5 hours into the walk, I could feel the blisters forming. I taped up my heels, but it still hurt to walk. I started thinking about finding a spot on the side of the road to sleep, a nice bush or something. But the sky was still overcast and getting darker, and I didn't want to be caught in the rain if I could help it. So I kept walking. As the sun kept rising and I kept walking, what passes me but the bus I was told wouldn't be running? And here was me standing there like an idiot on the side of the highway covered in duct tape, after stupidly spending my last dollar on Doritos. Hey, it wasn't the Doritos' fault. It didn't do nothing. So I couldn't afford the bus now, even if it did stop. Feeling like an idiot, I took all the tape off and left it behind. I'd eaten and drank all the food by then anyway, so it didn't matter much. After a total of 12 hours of walking, I made it home, fell into bed, and slept for I don't know how long. I think 18 hours. The next 3 days after that were a blur of me barely being able to stand, and using a wheeled office chair to slide around my unit to microwave food. If there's a moral to this story, I'll let you figure it out. I don't drink much anymore, but I'm great at 2 truths and a lie. The moral is your friends kinda suck. They should have checked on you to see if you wanted to go with them. Story number 4. TIFU, and was crapping orange wax from David protein bars never again. By Sparky Matrix. I do want to try those, I've never tried them. Maybe not after this, we'll see. I need to tell somebody about this because I'm still not over it. I loved David protein bars, peanut butter chocolate chunk specifically. Genuinely delicious, great macros. I was eating 2 a day, thinking I'd found the perfect protein snack. I will never eat one again, and here's why. About 2 weeks in, I noticed my stools had turned orange. I brushed it off. Figured it was something in the ground beef my grandmother was cooking. Asked her about it. She was not happy about that question. Didn't think much more of it. A few days later, I'm in the bathroom, doing my normal bidet routine. And I look down, and there are these waxy orange clumps stuck to the bowl, not rinsing off. I had to physically scrape them off with the toilet brush. Disgusting. Went to shower immediately after, and that's when I realized the orange stuff wasn't just in the toilet. It was all over me, coating everything back there like actual wax. A bidet spray wasn't touching it. I got a little freaked out and looked it up, and sure enough, other people have reported the same orange stool thing from these bars, so I backed off them for a bit. Then that same day I noticed my recliner had an orange stain on it, from whatever had been happening without me feeling a thing. Fast forward 2 weeks. I'm back on 2 bars a day. I know. Sitting in a work truck with co-workers, eating Chinese food. Spill a little on my pants, go to wipe it off the seat, and there's an orange stain that is very much not sweet and sour sauce. Black polyester pants, cooling fabric, orange wax stain, and I had not gone to the bathroom or felt anything all day. My co-workers saw it, I saw it. I wanted to disappear. Went straight to the bathroom and confirmed it. My ass was full of orange wax. It had apparently been slowly leaking out of me for hours without any sensation whatsoever. To top it off, my daughter had been eating 1 bar a day and was also getting orange stools. I'm a 40-year-old man, and this might be the single most disgusting and unsettling thing that's happened to my body in years. How is a snack bar out here causing unnoticed anal leakage? How is this legal? How does the company not have a warning on this? Never again. Check your stool, folks, if you're eating these. Update. Based on all your comments, I wrote the company a letter demanding the return of my $149 times 2, equaling $298 refund. I explained we can do this the hard way, or the easy way. The hard way is going full bricks and minifigs. Don't let $298 be the cause of your downfall. Reckless Ben, we have... Oh, hey, he might be a bit gun-shy right now. Let's leave him out of it. Update 2. They did the right thing. I was refunded for my protein bars, and the company did the right thing, and although I won't be eating them again, you have to commend them for doing what's right. I was refunded $140, times 3, so $421.20. I had my numbers wrong in another update. I post a picture, but it won't let me. Well, maybe I'll stay away from them, their bars. Unless they want to sponsor the channel, in which case, sure. I remember watching a YouTuber make a video about them. They didn't mention anything about anal leakage that I recall, though. Oof. Maybe they didn't eat that many of them. Only 150 calories. So many other things I could eat if I wanted 150 calories. Right, 5th and final story for today is TIFU by trying to upgrade my computer, by Dak the Snack. A few days ago, I decided I was finally tired of dealing with my computer's storage problems. I had a 250 gigabyte boot drive with a copy of Windows that was originally installed in 2013. and my available drive space would fluctuate between 300 megabytes and 2 gigabytes on any given day. Damn, I'm hovering between 40 to 60. I thought that was bad. So I went to Micro Center. I got a new 2 terabyte NVMe boot drive, fancy, and a 4 terabyte bulk storage SSD to replace the 1 terabyte hard drive I had for storage. This would all run in tandem with my existing 1 terabyte NVMe that's for games and stuff. To top it all off, I got a new 3-bay I/O because the one I had was starting to make death noises from the liquid in it evaporating. The upgrade started out pretty normal. Got a boot drive ready, took everything apart, and then I got to the I/O. This is where I discovered my processor was glued to the existing I/O with thermal paste. I tried to pull it off, but it ripped out of the socket without releasing the latch, which was unideal, but everything looked okay. The pins were fine, so I wasn't too worried. I then spent several fuck-ass hours hitting it with a blow dryer and isopropyl alcohol to get the thermal paste to let go. And let go it did. Right out of my hand, and slammed into the side of my case, bending a bunch of pins at a 45-degree angle. No big deal, I've bent a pin before, I'll fix it. I spent another hour with a credit card and a dream, getting these things straightened out. So it slid back into the socket. I finally get it all back together, turn on the computer, and I get the almighty 0D error. 0D errors specifically refer to problems with your RAM training and can be from anything. So I troubleshoot for hours, unseating, reseating, turning things on, off, trying to see if maybe something's just loose. So I finally try 1 stick of RAM and it posts. I install Windows, and I mark this as a success. Except any time I add more RAM, I get another 0D error. So I went to Micro Center and I bought a replacement CPU and a can of air. The thought was, I'll try blowing shit out of it like an N64, and if that works, I'll return the CPU. Did that, nothing booted, put in the new processor, and everything started working like normal. So your boy fully broke a processor. Hey, I'm just glad you didn't have to buy all new RAM. That's not really an option these days. Got an upgrade though. Went from a Ryzen 5900X to 5900 XT. And because it was their last one, I got it for $250, so at least there's that. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Big thanks to everyone who allowed me to use their stories. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up for my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. $1 or more gets you early access to all the videos at once on Monday. There's also a link to my merchandise store, my Discord server, my Threads account, and my email is kingofthecities@gmail.com if you need to contact me. Unless it's to yell abuse at me, just do that in the comments. That's everything for now. So until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take very good care of yourselves. Bye bye.